a great building. I'm so glad we've saved it and we've put the funds into it to restore it.
Well, you just don't make them like this anymore, do you?
Absolutely not, no.
Hi, I'm City Manager Ed Zuercher, and welcome to another edition of On the Job, the show where we talk to Phoenix employees about the work they do to serve the community. We often think that Phoenix is a young city, but even in a city like Phoenix, there's a great deal of history all around us. We're here today in front of Historic City Hall, which is a great example of a city-owned facility that has a great deal of history. And I'm joined today by our Historic Preservation Officer, Michelle Dodds. Michelle, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Ed.
So, tell us a little bit about the job of a Historic Preservation Officer in the city of Phoenix. I'm sure there's quite a diversity of things that you have to do every day.
Well, Ed, I oversee the Historic Preservation Office, and some of the main duties we have are to survey and designate our historic resources in the city of Phoenix. And once we do designate them on the Phoenix Historic Property Register, then any exterior changes that are done to those buildings, we would do a design review on that to make sure those changes are appropriate. We also do federal compliance reviews whenever federal funds are involved, and we also do a lot of outreach to let people know about the historic resources here in the city of Phoenix.
And you're located within the Planning and Development Services Department, and you actually started your career as a planner.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Now tell us a little bit about this building and the significance as we look at this, because I'm sure city employees walk by it every day and don't necessarily think about it.
Right. Well, it was constructed in 1928, 1929, and it's a joint county-city building, but the city's historic City Hall is on the west end of the building. And actually, we just finished a rehabilitation project, which really was an outstanding job. Did a lot of things, especially with the windows, restoring them, and also the terracotta on the building, and a lot of other things to bring it kind of up to today's standards in terms of energy efficiency. And so, the building itself is on both the National and the Phoenix Register as a historic landmark. And right now we are also seeking to be a national landmark based on what happened here with Ernest Miranda.
And tell us a little bit about that story. So the Miranda rights that we often see on TV crime dramas had an origin here in this building, yes?
That's correct. Ernest Miranda was arrested here in this building, and so we think that is of national significance, and it should be a national landmark, not just a Phoenix landmark.
Okay. Now, as we think about the three buildings that we're standing in between here, and many city employees work here, they sort of symbolize different eras in Phoenix, don't they? We have here, the 1920s?
Yes.
And then the Calvin Good building is what era?
Well, post-war.
So 1960s?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, somewhere in there. So Phoenix was a city of probably 50,000 with this building, 700,000 with this building, and then our brand new City Hall, which is now 20 years old, when Phoenix was a city of 1 million, and that also has reflects an architectural era, I guess.
Right, and then of course with the new City Hall, we have the Orpheum Theater, and the city did a fabulous job in saving the Orpheum Theater, but also very carefully putting a large 20-story building with that. So you can see how well new architecture can work with historic architecture.
And that actually takes me to another question for you, which is something that's very important is what we call adaptive reuse. So saving old buildings and using them for something new. Tell us about your role in that, and what does adaptive reuse mean to you as a planner and a historic preservationist?
Sure. A lot of the buildings where we have seen adaptive reuse are historic buildings, and sometimes there are some challenges with that, but we have an adaptive reuse program to help people through that process. And we have to allow changes over time with historic buildings, especially with things like making them accessible. And so we do what we can so everyone can enjoy the buildings, and the buildings can change over time, but the historic fabric, what made it significant, is still there.
Now, one of the interesting things about adaptive reuse is we look at this building, it's beautiful, but if you were in a wheelchair, this might be an intimidating view, and we wouldn't build buildings like this today. Talk a little bit about how things have to change and how you have to work with the old to make them accessible to everyone in the public.
Well, we do, and we want everyone to be able to enjoy these historic resources. So sometimes it may be a ramp that we add to the building, so we try to do that sensitively in the best way possible to preserve the integrity of the building, but we have to make those accommodations. Maybe it's a wheelchair lift. And so whatever we need to do to make sure that those historic resources are accessible to everyone, we work with the process to make sure that's done.
Okay, and we've spent a lot of time talking about this, which people might identify clearly as historic, but there's another sort of era in Phoenix that we don't often think of historic, but is getting more attention nationally, called MidCentury Modern. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know your office has even published a book about some of those unique Phoenix buildings.
We have. MidCentury Marvels looks at commercial architecture post-war, meaning 1945, 1975. And we look at those commercial buildings and where we would like to designate as many as we can, but at least make people aware of them, of their importance. And right now we're actually studying single-family neighborhoods that were developed between 1945 and 1975. And so, as you might imagine, with all the growth that happened post-war, that's a huge population of single-family neighborhoods to study. So it'll take us a while to complete that study.
Right. Now, you personally, how does a person become a historic preservation officer? You have probably an interesting path to tell us about to get to this job.
Well, I do have a master's degree in urban and regional planner. I am a planner, and I worked for the city's planning department for a number of years before I came to work in the historic preservation office. But I've always had an interest in architecture, the history of place. I've had an opportunity to travel a lot of places, and the people, the events that happen in those places are really, I find, very interesting.
And so for you, what would you say is one of the more rewarding things about being the historic preservation officer in Phoenix?
Every day I learn something new, because it's a large city, and I'm amazed every day at the historic resources that the city has here. And it's amazing, and I don't think most people realize that. So the more outreach we do to people to inform them of this, I think the more and more they'll appreciate it.
Well, great. Well, thanks for taking us on a walk through Phoenix history and telling us a little bit about the buildings we may take for granted every day. Thanks for what you do.
Oh, thanks so much, Ed.
If you'd like to learn more about the work of the Historic Preservation Office or the mid-century marvels that Michelle talked about, go to the website on your screen. For On the Job, I'm City Manager Ed Zuercher.